In the harsh natural world, fire is not just destruction, but the source of life. At the Ancient Pyro Forest, a geothermal biome, we encounter creatures that must learn to control their internal fire from the moment they are born. Cyndaquil relies on internal thermogenic fusion to survive. The flickering flame on its back is not just a weapon, but a signal of thermal inhibition. When frightened, the thermal response causes an abrupt spike, which is instantly destabilized. These faint embers are used as a chemical signal to deter competitive organisms, but this is not yet true power. Social interaction does not provoke a strong thermal response, but emotional indignation does. When cornered, transmutation begins. Quilava emerges with a more efficient combustion system. However, predatory pressure forces Quilava to discharge kinetic energy by jet propulsion. Finally, when fear transmutes into absolute fury reaching nuclear temperature, the thermal load activates complete morphological restructuring. Typhlosion emerges. The flame is now a stable thermal caldera. It utilizes its dorsal reactor to project an overwhelming thermal discharge, forcing enemies to retreat as the heat exceeds physical tolerance. Typhlosion has mastered its combustion system. The stable flame is now the symbol of maturity and authority. But fire is not the only force seeking to conquer the summit. Deep within Mount Silver, a growth cycle begins in darkness and absolute silence. Larvitar is born with a single goal: to consume enough geological matter to prepare for a massive transformation. Maternal protection is a fleeting luxury. To trigger its metamorphic clock, it must venture into the abrasive world alone. Its digestive system is a biological blast furnace capable of breaking down dense silicates into pure elemental energy. It must consume a mountain's worth of matter, a massive intake required for the impending cellular restructuring. When the internal furnace nears critical mass, the Larvitar seals itself within a chrysalis of solidified tectonic energy. The transformation into Pupitar begins. For months, it will remain a stationary fortress, its consciousness drifting between a dream of power and the reality of vulnerability. Inside, Pupitar generates immense internal pressure, tempering its new body through every external blow. When the shell shatters from the debris of the old self, a mountain-shaping force is unleashed. Tyranitar, the apex of the rock-skin lineage, officially reveals itself. Its presence alters the very landscape. No longer a victim of the environment, it has become its master. Meanwhile, in warm geothermal caves, a high-energy creature begins its clumsy life with a very bold spirit. Gible, the land shark, possesses a naturally aggressive nature, but remains incredibly playful and curious. It lives by the privilege of being protected by one of the forest's most powerful apex tyrants. Overconfident in that protection, Gible decides to leave the cave to explore the vast outside world. Unaware that beyond its mother's boundaries, the laws of survival become much more brutal. It encounters a peer rival, Jangmo-o, a dragon warrior training its hard and metallic scales. The clumsy bite hits scales as hard as steel, forcing Gible to pay with its own teeth. Pushed into a corner, the pseudo-legendary gene reacts strongly, driving a forced and very intense evolutionary process. Gabit emerges, ready to defend its dignity. However, the vast gap in combat experience remains a significant hurdle. Amidst the life and death moment, Mother Garchomp appears like a ghost of destruction from high above the cliffs. There is no pampered protection. The mother only leaves behind a stern lesson about self-reliance. After years of intense training, the time for the final transformation has approached. Garchomp is born, a war god of sky and earth, with speed that surpasses the sound barrier. Its rough skin ability forms a dangerous counter-attacking weapon. The natural world now bows before the majesty of the newly crowned Sky Ruler. And now, we arrive at the Charicific Valley, where Charizard pride transcends all boundaries. This is the ultimate destination every young flame aspires to reach. Two young Charizard leave the pack to seek the ultimate challenge at the Grey Cracks, a forbidden zone where ancient rulers hide. Hydreigon emerges, ready to eliminate the intruders. From the abyss, Garchomp rises to complete the encirclement. When the brink of death nears, the bond within the dragons explodes. Mega Charizard Y appears, the wind deity commanding the sky and light. The drought ability activates, incinerating Hydreigon's darkness. Mega Charizard Y borrows solar energy to reinforce itself, concentrating it into a single heat wave to purge the forbidden zone. Its flight speed defies biological limits, ensuring it does not yield the sky easily. Simultaneously on the ground, a violent transformation occurs. Mega Charizard X, a true black dragon bearing lethal blue flames, reveals itself. It bears dragon-type power and tough claws that amplify physical damage. In close quarters, both Garchomp and Hydreigon are forced to yield to the mega power. Mega Charizard X launches flames with extreme heat, shattering the dominance over the Grey Cracks. The battle ends, leaving a new definition of evolution. Fatigue cannot hide the pride of the two Charizard. Every scar is a certificate of ascension. They return bearing the prestige of conquerors. Recognition from the elder Charizard is the best reward. The journey to becoming a true dragon has only just begun. But this world is not only ruled by mortal conquerors, it is governed by supreme entities. Beginning within the molten heat of the Earth's core, Moltres, the fire deity, appears. The heat from its body can be felt from miles away. It is the embodiment of thermal conversion, carrying the warmth necessary for germination. Its appearance signals the end of winter. It is the biological catalyst for rebirth. Moltres' fire is not just to burn, but to light the path for rebirth. Running parallel to the fire of rebirth is the power of Entei. Amidst the horrific firestorm where the brass tower collapsed, Entei manifested from eternal flames, carrying the hot blood of active volcanoes. The Fire King's roar causes distant mountains to wake up and begin erupting dangerous magma. The magma energy inside Entei is always boiling and never completely goes out. To release heat pressure, Entei is forced to move constantly through the Virgin Lands. And at Unova's highest peak, two ancient stones hold a source of massive energy. Reshiram rises, its majestic figure brightening the entire space. Zekrom appears with turbine engine sounds echoing through the cliffs. When overdrive mode activates, Reshiram releases blue flare, a concentrated heat stream, while Zekrom wraps itself in an electric cocoon, charging like a meteor. The moment of collision creates a shockwave that shakes both space and time. Reshiram's movement creates dense fog caused by extreme heat, while energy from Zekrom turns desert sand into crystals sparkling under blue lightning. They are the true dragon gods, guarding the vital pulses of Mother Nature. from the faint embers of fear in the deep forest to the harsh tempering in the rock caves, and finally the brilliant ascension at the Charicific Valley. All is part of the grand cycle of life. Strength comes not from blood, but from the will to overcome all harsh and cruel challenges. The remaining marks remind the world that balance is always protected from above. All is part of the grand cycle of life.